All right, Scorpions chapter 6. I bet I can get down to the second floor before you do. Oswaldo Vasquez had been standing at the top of the stairs, and Jamal was already halfway down. He knew what Ozzy was going to do. He would jump down the first flight, then jump down the second while Jamal was running. Bet, Jamal said. Ozzy and Jamal jumped at the same time. Jamal lost his balance a little but got to the second flight at the same time that Ozzy did. They both jumped at the same time again and landed together at Mr. Davidson's feet. There was a picture of George Washington over Mrs. O'Connell's desk and a picture of Martin Luther King over Mrs. Rose's desk in the office. Jamal and Ozzy had been sitting in the principal's office all morning with their hands folded in their laps. Jamal looked at the pictures and wondered why the one of George Washington wasn't finished. At 11 o'clock, Mr. Davidson called Miss Jamal and Ozzy into his office. Oswaldo, you have a fairly decent record, Mr. Davidson held a folder in his hand. Why are you associating with somebody like Hicks? Ozzy shrugged and looked down at his shoes. I'm giving you 2 warnings, Oswaldo, Mr. Davidson said. The first one is that if I get any more complaints about you this term, especially that you're fooling around in the hallways, you're going to find yourself in a lot of trouble. Do you understand? Yes, sir, Oswaldo spoke quietly. The second warning is that if you continue to find people like Jamal Hicks for friends, you're going to be in trouble whether you like it or not. Do you understand that? Yes, sir. You can go. Oswaldo stood quickly and left without looking at Jamal. I'm not even going to give you a warning because I don't think it's going to do any good, Mr. Davidson said to Jamal. So you just go on and do whatever you want to do. Sooner or later, you're going to do something that's going to let me put you out of this school. You know that and I know that. So go on and get to your class. They were collecting homework when he got into the room and Jamal turned his in. Then they started talking about how the government was divided up into 3 parts. The teacher called on Jamal and asked him if he could name the 3rd part, after Tamaya Davis had said that the Supreme Court and the Congress. The executive, Jamal said. Dwayne cracked up. It's the president, stupid, he said. Actually, Jamal's right. It's the executive branch, of which the president is the head. Jamal looked over at Dwayne. Dwayne was still laughing. Even though the teacher had said that Jamal was right, Dwayne was acting as if he were wrong. The class went on and Dwayne kept looking back at Jamal and laughing. He got Billy to laugh too. The only way to deal with somebody stupid like Dwayne, Jamal thought, was to punch him out. Dwayne acted so tough, and he thought Jamal was scared of him, but he wasn't. He wasn't scared of anybody. Jamal waited at the corner until Tito showed up. Tito had on one of Jamal's shirts. Why are you wearing my shirt to school? Jamal asked. This ain't your shirt, Tito said. This used to be your shirt, but now it's mine because I wear it more than you do. That's because you don't give it back, Jamal said as they walked down the street. You gotta go home? Tito asked. Well, let's go over to the boat place. All the way down to 79th Street? Yeah. Okay. It took Jamal and Tito almost an hour to get down to the boat basin, but it was worth it. It was mid-October and soon there wouldn't be many boats around, but there were still a few now. Tito started coughing. Jamal hated it when Tito coughed. It seemed as if there was something in Tito's chest that made him swell and that he was trying to get out. When he coughed really hard, Tito's eyes would roll around and glisten with his efforts. Jamal put his arm around Tito's shoulders. This time the coughing didn't last that long, and soon they were going along the walk, picking out boats the way they always did. See that one? Tito pointed out a small boat with black and gold trim. Yeah? That's going to be my first boat, Tito said. I'm going to get that one first, and then later, when I get really rich, I'm going to get that big one over there. Well, what are you going to do with the little one? Jamal leaned over the side of the rail. Maybe I'll give it to my wife or something, Tito said. Well, suppose you ain't married. Then maybe I'll give it to a poor kid. I'm going to get a big boat first, Jamal said. You got to save your money first. Well, suppose there's a war or something and they start dropping bombs and everything. What do you think they're going to bomb first? They ain't going to bomb the boats, man. No way. Yes, they are. They're going to bomb everything the rich people got. Maybe. The man in a blue jacket and white sailing cap came from below deck on one of the boats. Tito nudged Jamal. Then they both waved to the man. The man waved back. The boys watched as he went about the boat checking things, then climbed over the side onto the pier. Let's go ask him how much his boat cost, Tito said. He won't tell us. You scared? Jamal gave Tito a look and pushed away from the railing they were leaning against. Tito didn't catch up with him. Jamal knew that Tito was the one who actually didn't like talking to strangers, but it didn't bother him. How much your boat cost? He asked when they had reached the man. Thinking of buying it, are you? The man was taller than he had looked on the boat. He had a sharp nose, gray-blue eyes, and just the beginning of a small beard. Jamal smiled and looked at the boat. I just want to know how much it cost. Well, it's not really my yacht, the man said. The company I work for owns it, but I do get to use it. Anybody in your company can just ride on it when they want to? Not anybody, the man said, but I can. Well, how much it cost? Tito spoke up. I would think in the neighborhood of about $85,000. I might get me one when I get a job, Jamal said. Good luck with it. The man touched the front of his cap and started off. That's a lot of money, Tito said. He's probably rich. He looks rich. He ain't that rich, Jamal said, because he's working for a company. If he was real rich, he would have his own boat. His own yacht, Tito said. Yeah. Hey, you know that got a C in it? What? Yacht. Yacht's got a C in it, Jamal said. I saw it in a reader. I think we ought to go home now, Tito said. You got asthma? A little. You got car fare to go home? You? No. They walked downtown to 72nd Street and Broadway. They were thinking of sneaking on the train there, but there were two cops standing there near the booth. One was white, the other black. My friend got asthma, Jamal said. Can we get on the train because he can't walk all the way uptown? Get out of here. You don't got to be nasty about it, Jamal said to the black cop. What are you, a wise guy? The white cop tapped Jamal lightly with his nightstick. Jamal pushed the nightstick away and glared at the cop. Tito started coughing again. He took Jamal's arm and began to pull him away from the two cops. Jamal pulled his arm from Tito's grasp. You see? He's got asthma, Jamal said. Get out of here! The white cop waved his hand toward the gate, and Jamal took Tito's arm and pulled him through. Tito coughed a lot on the way uptown. A woman gave him a packet of tissues. You know what we could do if we were rich, Jamal said? We could live someplace warm, and maybe you wouldn't get asthma all the time. We could live in Puerto Rico, Tito said. We could get us a boat and drive to Puerto Rico. If we had two boats, we could race. Why? Jamal answered. You get in that little boat and I'm getting the big boat, so you know I would win. Oh yeah, I forgot, Tito said. All right, so the question here is, why do you think Jamal and Tito are talking about these boats? What's the point of this conversation? Why do they go down there and look at the boats? Why do they do this all the time? This is something they do all the time. Why do you think they do this all the time? All right, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.